this is one of the first parts of what if Deku was Shazam or had the powers of Shazam. Now this is long overdue, but I'm gonna be doing it. Now basically, um, part one to a new series of what ifs I'm gonna be doing. I'm gonna be doing what ifs on Invincible, the TV show now, after season 1 ended, so I have all that, stuff I need. So basically, I'm gonna be doing a series, and you guys can ask me what ifs do you want me to do about Invincible. I will be doing what if Shazam was in the Invincible universe, all the way up until episode 8. So yeah, so basically, I'm gonna have two what ifs. What was it? Introducing Shazam as the main character. Now, basically, Deku have the powers of Shazam and have the same, origin story. Now, basically, Deku get his powers, let's say, at about 15. I'm gonna make it a little bit short. Deku's gonna be a little bit younger. He's gonna be 15, and Deku's going to first, see a glimpse of his power when he was younger. Now, basically, guys, before I get into what if any further, I will be uploading What If Deku Was Kryptonian Part 2 tonight. I also will be uploading What If Shazam was in the Invincible Universe tomorrow, maybe, tomorrow morning, or tomorrow afternoon, or tomorrow night. Basically, I'll be uploading two What Ifs tomorrow, and I'll be uploading this What If, because you're seeing the video right now, but I'm also going to be uploading What If Deku Was Kryptonian Part 2, and maybe if I have enough time, I might just be able to pop out a third episode, what if Nick Wilde was, what if Deku was Nick Wilde Part 3. Now, if I can't pull that off, I'm probably going to do it tomorrow, so yeah. So let's get into it, guys. Now, basically, Deku's going to be born all the same. Deku's life is going to be exactly the same. All up until Deku is about... It's about when... All the way up to that point where Deku gets beat up by Bakugo at the park. Deku was there pretty much just, staring at the sky. When Deku blinks his eyes and appears in a cave, Deku's confused and he sees a wizard on pretty much a chair and says, Izuku Midoriya, you are not ready yet, but your power will come soon. Deku pretty much Deku scoffs. No, Deku doesn't scoff. Deku is pretty much more or less like super freaked out that he's in a cave all of a sudden. Deku gets back up and blinks one more time. Blinks again, and he's appeared in the pretty much park again. Deku's confused. Deku gets picked up from his mom, and we skip a couple years later, and Deku hasn't looked into it because, he just thought it was something, because he just thought, he got pretty much knocked up pretty bad by Bakugo. Basically, Deku is a little bit more of a Billy Batson type of personality. Deku takes risks and also fights against bullies with quirks, kind of like how Billy Batson fought against those bullies in the beginning of the Shazam movie with the crutches. Now, basically, Deku stands up for what he believes in and fights pretty much knowing that he can't really win in a one-on-one fight with somebody with a quirk, but he still tries anyways. Now, basically, guys, Deku, Deku, we skip a couple of years and we get to when Deku's about 15. Now, we take this pretty much example, and basically this happens about a year before the end of the school year, like the beginning of Deku's school year with Bakugo. If the school that we, were introduced at the beginning of the anime where Deku was in. Now, basically, Deku starts his year at, this school where he's going to be taking place with Bakugo. Basically, just, going to the school a couple days, but eventually being ran down by, or being chased by Bakugo one day because Bakugo trying to bully him. Deku gets away by getting on the bus and pretty much flicking off Bakugo and his goons, saying, catch me later. Pretty much sitting down and out of breath. Deku blinks his eyes, but he feels that tingling sensation that he felt when he was a little kid and he got teleported to that cave. Deku was weirded out. He opens his eyes and he sees that there's no one in the cart anymore next to him. Or in the whole entire bus for that matter. I mean, the whole entire train for that matter. Deku can't see anybody in the train. Not even the constructor is there. Basically, Deku's confused, but when he stops abruptly, he looks out the windows and he sees parts of caves and rocks, and he looks around and he sees cave passages leading to doors and mystical items, but also seeing a huge doorway, a huge cave way or a huge hole where the cart opens up. Deku walks out of it and sees the same wizard that he saw years ago. Deku says, "You're the same. You're the same guy. This isn't. I'm not. I'm not. I'm not. I'm not faking this." Basically, Deku is confused, pretty much going around pasting, but pretty much the Wizard Shazam saying to be calm. Pretty much explaining. Shazam explains about the gods and how they were taken down by Black Adam, and how I need a new champion to build my power. Deku says, "So it's kind of like a quirk, right?" Basically, he says, "Yes. You are pure of heart, Izuku Midoriya. You fight even though you know that you will never win. You fight for what you believe in, that anybody can become a hero, even without a quirk. You are the epitome of what this world needs to be at. You have to be pure-hearted, and that's why I want to give you this power. No pure-hearted person can be corrupted by the power of Shazam." Basically, Deku says, "So, how will I get this power?" Basically, he says, "You'll become Earth's champion and become a hero." Deku says, so I can become a hero?" Shazam says, "Yes. Yes, you can, Izuku Midoriya. Either way you want to, you can go into the academy, or you can become a vigilante. It's up to you. Your power. The only thing I wish of you is is to one day grant your power to somebody else, and to one day give the world a meaning, give a world a symbol far greater than All Might's." Deku basically says yes, and swears to be a hero and not to use his power for evil like Black Adam did. Basically, Deku knowing a lot about Black Adam because they spent about 15 minutes talking about it. Now, basically, Deku grabs the staff and says, "So, what do I have to say?" He says, "Say my name." And Deku says, I don't know your name." He says, "Shazam, boy!" And Deku grabs his spear and says, "Okay, Shazam!" And out of nowhere, a lightning bolt strikes Deku and transforms him into Shazam. Into Shazam. Now, basically Deku's Shazam outfit looks exactly like this in the picture. The new 22, or the new 52 Shazam. This is how the new 52 Shazam, that's how, his Shazam outfit looks like. In this picture, this is how Deku looks like. Now, Deku does have black hair, because in the future, Deku's hair will turn black after this. Now, basically, Deku's hair will start slowly turning black over the years, and eventually when Deku gets to 20 years old, or gets to eventually, adult ages, Deku's hair will turn completely black. So, yeah. So, basically, Deku turns to Shazam and says, "What is going on?" And the wizard says, "I've fulfilled my duty, and you have to give off the legacy." Basically, withering away, and basically saying, be the greatest hero you can be, Izuku Midoriya. The power of the gods built on you. You are the symbol of hope in the true eyes of the gods. Basically, teleporting away, or basically just dying, withering away, and Deku pretty much getting teleported on the same cart around everybody. Deku walks off and walks out of the cart and basically finds himself at Degyo Beach, basically training and developing his powers, basically being told by Shazam about the whole entire thing about, not being told by Shazam about the pretty much Shazam did explain the whole entire meaning behind the name Shazam, because every word in the name Shazam starts with a name of a god, a Greek god or a Roman god, don't know which one. Basically, Deku, pretty much explores these powers, and also is told that the Wizard Shazam for pretty much Deku to transform back, all you have to say is Shazam. Basically, Deku grabs some, some, middle, starts chucking it like pretty much grabs a dirty old rusty, pretty much, what's it called, washing machine, and punches it, sending it flying miles up into the sky, basically being surprised at this. Deku trains a little bit more, find out that he has pretty much unlimited amount of strength, because at this point, at Deku Beach, Deku can't find a certain amount of strength that he can't pull off. So Deku's pretty excited, because he can definitely become the pro hero or the #1 hero with his power. Deku also learns that he can shoot lightning and power from his hands. Deku also learns that he can fly. He's invulnerable, and also Deku has the wisdom of Solomon, and also Deku has has incredible has superhuman speed, and also Deku has the speed of Mercury, so Deku's pretty fast, and Deku also has you know what? I'm gonna give Deku the ability to control the weather. Now, Deku can control lightning bolts and shoot lightning from his hands, but Deku can control the weather. Now, let's make Deku pretty OP, but I'm not gonna make him like Storm control the weather. Deku's gonna be able to make storms on will or on command. Basically, being able to do a distraction, basically making a huge, like ginormous, pretty much hurricane level thunderstorm, basically being able to get away from like an opponent's view, or opponent being focused on the outside, or on the pretty much around around there's around them, because if Deku was using this outside. And basically we skip all the way to the end of the year, where Deku has learned all of his abilities and has trained in some martial arts. Deku knowing a bunch of martial arts from the wisdom of Solomon now, basically being able to box at Batman's level, and also being able to basically fight with the same fighting skill as Batman and Superman. Basically being able to go up against both. Basically Deku having no real weakness except the word Shazam. Now basically Deku, every time Deku transforms, Deku's hair will turn blacker. So eventually, at the end of this, what if Deku's hair will become completely black. Basically, Deku goes on and pretty much signs up for UA. And basically, Deku, the last day of school, Deku intends on showing everybody his powers. Basically, Deku being a vigilante for about a week, basically wearing a red hoodie and basically tucking in his cape in the red hoodie, basically being a vigilante, trying to keep his Shazam form under wraps and not trying to show it, because Deku is going to be using it for the entrance exams, and he doesn't want anybody to tie him to the vigilante. Basically, Deku stopped vigilanting, and basically the charges, or like pretty much people just forget about the lightning vigilante, basically just forgetting about it. Now, Deku only used one power. He only used lightning manipulation, and that was basically it. Deku dodged bullets, so people would think that he wasn't bulletproof. So basically, Deku gets to the entrance exams. Basically, before that, Deku does get bullied by Bakugo, because Bakugo does blow up Deku's journal. But Deku did have a bunch of history or research on the Greek gods and the Roman gods in that notebook, and Deku's pretty, angry at this, because that was like a year worth of research that Deku just put in that notebook that Bakugo just blew up. Deku gets angry and says, "Do that again, Bakugo, see what happens." Bakugo says, "What are you gonna do about it, quirkless nerd?" and grabs Deku and throws him against the wall. Basically, at this point, it was like at the end of the class, and basically everybody was still there. And basically, Deku says, "You wanna know what I do?" And Bakugo says, "Yeah, what?" And says, "All I have to do is say one word and you're dead, Bakugo." Bakugo says, "Say it then." And Deku yells out Shazam, and a lightning bolt goes through the window, striking Deku, and Deku transforming into Shazam! Now, guys, I don't know if that yelling was necessary, but yeah, it was okay transition. Basically, Deku appears out from the smoke, basically as a grown man, a very muscular, grown, heroic man, and the girls in the class go like, "What the?" And pretty much they look at Deku, pretty much blushing, and basically Bakugo stepping back, saying, "What the? You had a quirk this whole time?" And basically Deku says, "Yeah, well, not the whole time, but at least at the beginning of this year." And Bakugo says, "Why did you not tell me, you nerd? I'm gonna kill you!" And Deku dodges Bakugo's attack with ease, grabbing Bakugo by the head and chucking him through a freaking wall, like a whole entire different wall, like nothing. Pretty much knocking out Bakugo. Deku does pay for the damages, because Deku did do a side hustle, basically making performance stunts and doing some magic, because Deku can do magic because he is, you know, Avatar of the Gods. Deku can do magic like levitation and stuff like that, but it takes a total hold on Deku. And also, when Deku uses magic, he can't use any of his other powers. So that means he's vulnerable while he's using his magic, aka spells. So Deku barely doesn't use spells because it uses a lot of mind power and a lot of physical power, basically putting a huge strain on Deku's body. So Deku mainly just uses his lightning manipulation. So basically, Deku, looks around and yells out Shazam, transforming back into, him. Deku goes back, to school, basically going back the next day, and Bakugo being super angry at Deku, basically Bakugo having pretty much a bandage around his arm because Bakugo did land on his arm, breaking it. Basically, Deku, smirks at Bakugo, and Bakugo gets super angry and trying to get back up, but he feels like his arm, is pretty bruised. And basically, over the 10-month arc training, Bakugo does get a lot more better and does heal fully, so Bakugo won't be out for the rest of the series. So yeah, turn that down a little bit too loud. Basically, Deku will be going to, the entrance exams, not getting a sponsorship or a recommendation, like my other what ifs. But basically, Deku goes to the entrance exams, basically, skipping out on Bakugo, and basically, walking away from Bakugo. Bakugo not trying to bully Deku because he doesn't want to get his butt whooped like yesterday. And basically, Deku goes, back to the wizard's cave, basically being able to teleport to the wizard's cave just by saying Shazam in the same train cart, or just saying Shazam in the subway. So Deku can, teleport to, the wizard's lair, or Deku can teleport to the wizard's lair. Deku can teleport to the wizard's lair anywhere. He likes to do it in the, pretty much subways, because it's a little bit more, inconspicuous. Basically, Deku says Shazam to teleport to the cave. Deku just fades away. It's kind of like how Martian Manhunter turns invincible. Deku just fades away. That's what basically happens. Deku fades away and basically just, goes away. Now, basically, guys, Deku goes back to, Deku basically goes back to Deku Beach, already having it cleaned up. Deku over the 10-month art training, Deku already spent a year training his Shazam form. Now Deku's gonna spend the 10-month art training training his human form or his normal form, because what if he can't say Shazam? What if somebody, puts like some sort of inhibitor around his throat or some sort of thing around his mouth, not allowing him to talk? Or basically not allowing Deku to, speak. Or if they ever, stop Deku from talking for a long amount of time, Deku cannot, basically go Shazam. And basically Deku, gets ready and basically gets, started. Now basically Deku gets ready, and Deku, starts training his real body and gets, a couple of weights, builds up some, muscle, basically getting the same body that he got in the original canon. Getting the same body that I got in original canon, having a scar on his hand because Deku was, working on some bars, and basically, had one of the bars fall on his hand, and they did, scratch his hand somehow. Like the edge of it, went around Deku's hand, scratched it, so Deku still have that mark on his hand. Now, basically, Deku has the same body that he had in canon, having the same body that he had after the 10-month arc training with All Might, but a little bit more perfected. Now, basically, Deku goes to, a little bit more, just a little bit more, Deku has the same body, the exact same bod that Deku had after the 10th arc training with All Might. So it's not better than the last one, or it's not weaker than the last one. It's the exact same body that Deku had during the 10th arc training. Now, guys, let's get into it. Now, basically, Deku, after training his full body, basically goes to UA, basically wearing a red jumpsuit, kind of like his green one, but just with a red jumpsuit with a lightning bolt on the front of it, looking very similar to the lightning bolt on his Shazam form. And that's what Deku's going to be wearing while he's transformed in Shazam. Because Deku's hero costume is going to be Shazam, the transformation, but Deku's hero costume after, if he was ever de-transformed from Shazam form, he'll have a okay hero costume, basically having a, a red jumpsuit looking very similar to his green jumpsuit, but just red, and basically having a yellow lightning bolt on the chest of it. Basically looking very cool. And basically Deku shows up to this, to the, what was it? Entrance exams, bumping into Denki, actually, or female Denki for that matter, because I'm gonna be shipping Deku with female Denki. Now, guys, you're probably wondering, what is female Denki? Now, I think Denki, since they do have kind of like this, they do share kind of like the same power in some aspects, and Deku also has a cocky attitude now because Deku has the power of a god at his fingertips, and Deku is still kind of technically a kid because he is a teenager. Basically, Deku is gonna be pretty oh, sorry, jeez, I have a screenshot on. What the fuck? I'm trying to delete that. I'll tell you what, the freak, bro. So don't cap me on that. But don't ban me, YouTube. I'm sorry. Basically, Deku goes back to goes to the entrance exams, bumping into a female Denki Kaminari, basically talking to her, and Deku does get an attraction towards her. Yeah, so basically the ship for this what if is gonna be female Denki Kaminari. So yeah, so it's gonna be ginger swapped Denki Kaminari. And basically for Jiro's ship, I'm probably just gonna ship Jiro with, like, I don't know, freaking I don't know, Bakugo, I don't know. Basically a female Denki is going to get an attraction to Deku as well. But Deku just says hope you're okay, and basically walks off. Denki looks at Deku and pretty much smirking and saying he's kind of cute, and basically we skip to Deku getting ready and yelling out Shazam, doing the testing, or like doing the talk thing, and basically yells out Shazam, transforming into Shazam. After the whole entire talk from President Mike, Deku says Shazam, transforming into Shazam, and gets ready to do the entrance exams. Deku gets ready and basically Deku basically just says pretty much says, "See you later, chumps," and pretty much flies up into the sky. Everybody being, pretty, out of pretty much being surprised because flying quirks like Deku's is pretty rare. And also Deku showing all these powers, all these extra powers Deku has. They're pretty much looking at Deku saying, like, how much power does this guy have? Basically, Denki in this universe having the same testing score, having the same testing grounds as Deku, seeing Deku using all this power. And she's not, well, basically, she doesn't recognize Deku, but she does see that the man does kind of look like a grown-up version of that kid she saw earlier. Basically, Deku starts shooting lightning left and right towards what was it? Robots left and right from the skies. Basically, not taking them out easily. Basically, coming across the zero-point robot. Instead of a Chakugan under some rubble, it's actually female Denki Kaminari. Deku flies over there, grabbing the rebel, flicking it off of her with ease, grabbing her and flying her out of the way. Basically, she getting her out the way, and basically Deku looking back and saying, "This might be fun." And basically flies through the zero-point robot's body multiple times, destroying it. Basically flying around, seeing that it's falling down and exploding. Deku takes Denki Kaminari to the recovery girl's office and says, "Are you okay?" And she says, "Yes." And pretty much, Deku walks off. She says, "Wait," and pretty much gives Deku her number and says, "I think you're cute. Maybe we can go on a date sometimes." Deku says, "Thank you," and says, "Shazam," transforming back. She says, "You're the same guy." And basically, Deku says, yeah, do you still want to give me your number? And she says, yes, I do. And basically, uh, pretty much, saying, see you later. And pretty much Deku says, yeah, you too. Walking off, pretty much saying, I never thought I'd get a girl for my power. And basically, Deku saying, I never thought about, dating, but maybe this might be a good opportunity. Now, basically, Deku goes back to school, back home, waiting for the results, getting the results saying that he got the highest score ever, higher than All Might's score for UA. And basically, Deku getting crowned, one of the best. And basically, Deku goes, to UA the next day, pretty much walking in the class 1A, walking in there, seeing a couple other students, and seeing Denki in there. Denki looks at Deku, walks up to him and says, hey, and pretty much Deku says, yeah, hey, I didn't have enough time to call you, and she says, it was okay. Yeah, I didn't expect you to call me the first night. And basically, Deku, being hugged by Denki says, so, are we gonna be dating? Deku says, I don't know yet. And basically, being interrupted by Azao walking into class, explaining to the class that they're doing, quirk assessments, and they get ready and they get out their lazy bums and get, suited up. They get into their sports outfits or their gym clothes, and basically Deku is told to throw the ball first. Deku yells at Shazam, transforming into Shazam, and throwing the ball as he transforms, throwing it pretty much out of the atmosphere. Everybody being surprised seeing that how Deku threw it so far. Basically, everybody being shocked at this and being like, "Oh my gosh!" Basically, everybody being shocked at this, and pretty much Denki saying, "I didn't know he could throw that hard." Pretty much everybody, the girls in class pretty much look at Deku saying, "That's pretty cool." And pretty much Deku, you know, gets ready and basically for the long jump test, Deku just flies over it. For the race, Deku dominates everybody because Deku has the speed of a god. And basically, for the grip test strength, Deku aces it. And for the weight throwing test, Deku grabs a 500-pound weight and chucks it out of the atmosphere. Basically, everybody being surprised at this. And Deku saying it wasn't really that hard. Now, basically, Deku goes back, goes back home after, everybody gets sent back home with their syllabus, and Deku walks back home. Basically means stopped by, female Denki, and basically Denki, telling Deku that, maybe, so, are you gonna call me? And basically Deku says, yeah, I'll call you. And basically, that night, Deku calls Denki, and basically sets up a date for the next day they have off for the weekend. Now, guys, I'm gonna leave it off here, guys. See you guys later. Bye. And as also, guys, like, subscribe, comment, share, and share this with any of the other, any other guys or any other friends that you know that like what ifs. So yeah. So hope you guys have a fantastic day, or well, as always, I hope you guys have a blessed day. See you guys later. Bye. Jesus, and as always, guys have a blessed day.